Poppy, aka Mariah Pereira, just came out with her new album, Negative Spaces. I reviewed this album and I have a bunch of notes and things to say about it. You should listen to me because I have a microphone and I'm a stranger on the internet. What more could you need? This album is 42 minutes and has 15 tracks, and originally when I first my first listen through of this, I've listened to probably, I would say, about 20 times at this point, and I'll probably have listened to more by the time this is edited and uploaded because this, spoiler alert, it's good. And I'm not saying this is a biased review, but I am a Poppy fan. First of all, we need to talk about the aesthetic choices of the album. All of the text in the album is lowercase. I don't know why, but I thought that was noteworthy. Everything Poppy does is noteworthy, so I took notes on that. Obviously, it's all lowercase. Don't know what it means. Okay. Before we get into the meat of the music, let's talk about the album art. First of all, not all of Poppy's albums are in color. This one was, and it's very minimalistic. I think I would define this as minimalistic. I love her hair choice. She looks so good. She looks so freaking good, and I'm so proud of her on her health journey. But like, oh my God, she looks so good. Iconic. But the water itself, I like that there's black in it. I like that we've put a little bit of a spin on like the bathtub murky, milky water situation of photo shoots. I noticed that she didn't put any text on the front of the album. That's an interesting stylistic choice. I know not all artists do it, and I like that she doesn't, because she knows that her music and her artistry is so iconic that she doesn't have to, and that's capitalism at its finest. And just the overall colors, they're very like muted colors, but there's still color. And I think that's important to note as well, because if we look back at her previous work, it's interesting, the ones that are in color and the ones that are not. I don't know if this was like a stylistic choice from the beginning, but because she bends genre so much and she always keeps us guessing, I think it's worth noting now. Before I review this album, I think you should know that she has been working on her new show, which is called I'm Probably Poppy, and it's on Veeps. It is so funny. It is so witty. The acting is so good, and it's really, dare I say, iconic, because she branches out and does something more than she used to do on YouTube. It's like a full, not that her YouTube videos weren't full concepts, but like it's a bigger like project with more concepts and more she relies on other actors more, which is really fun. So I think you should give it a watch and a listen, because every single one of these episodes has a song at the end. She has an original song for the end of every episode, which is so cool. And if you're a fan of her pop stuff more so than her rock, you will love it. I'm telling you, this music is so good. She's keeping it behind the paywall on Veeps. So go swipe your credit card, throw some money Poppy's way, because it is worth the watch. And this is not sponsored, but that being said, I needed to tell you that because she's kind of like promoting over there on this whole new platform, which is awesome, but she's also been doing a lot of cool marketing. She has a new movie. It's a short film coming out.
I haven't told anybody this yet, but I'm also pregnant.
Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Did you know pregnancy lasts approximately 280 days from the last menstrual period? Did you know elephants have a gestation period? An elephant's gestation period is about 22 months.
It's called The Most Perfect Person, and there hasn't been much promo for it that I have seen. I believe there was just a showing for it in California, I think yesterday at the time of me filming this, but I could not get over there in that amount of time. I need like 6 to 12 years to, prepare before I go somewhere. So couldn't make that one. Plus I worked, but I wanted to, because I've only seen the 25-second teaser, and she's got her little headphone in, and the scripting of it and her micro, expressions from her acting are so good. Like, Poppy is an actress. Y'all forget that Poppy is not only a singer, a dancer, she's an actress, she's a comedian. Poppy is the moment, people. And if you don't think that's true, then you can look at my nail, because it's busted, okay? Poppy's first song on Negative Spaces is called Have You Had Enough? And the first thing that stood out to me on this was the underlick. The underlick starts out and it's like drums and like guitar. It's a little rocky. You're not quite sure what the song is going to turn into, which if we have like examined Poppy's previous records, we kind of didn't really know what to expect from this record. So I thought that was a cool choice because she didn't go straight into anything. It wasn't like straight into pop. It wasn't any of that. She really worked hard on her underlicks throughout this whole album. Not that she hasn't before, but I noticed more deliberate intention behind it on this one, but I think she wanted us to. And I'll explain more about that later. But the underlicks, pay very close attention to them when you listen, people. As a longtime Poppy fan, I was really curious to see what she was going to do with this record. So the intro of this record being the way it is, I was kind of hoping for some doctrine. I was kind of hoping for a rock star moment. And I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of Poppy behind the scenes. And I can't say that she disappointed. She always goes above and beyond. And this song literally is an anthem for the people. Buying fear to feed their dealers, can't call it love and sound sincere, but have you had enough? I think this is a political song that will age very well. It's not just lyrically provocative, it also helps to point out America's hypocrisy of like governance these days, not just America's, like world governance, to be honest, but it truly is an anthem that could be rallied behind, which in the rock, that's pretty rock star. If any of you people are out there hating, I think that's pretty freaking rock star. So if you don't think Poppy's a rock star, I don't know what to tell you, okay? I think Poppy has been pooped on for far too long. She is a star. She's very talented and she's very smart. And on top of all of those things, I think her music has longevity. I think it holds up. I think lyrically she is talented, and I think sonically she is talented. So I don't care if you're a hater, and if you don't like what I have to say, then go kick rocks, I guess. In fact, I would say the political songs on this album would give Ronald Radke a run for his money, but maybe Poppy and him will collab and she can tell him a little bit about trans rights. I'm joking, I've been to 2 of his shows. However, I could use a Poppy x Ronald Radke collaboration. I think it would be fire. The next song on the album is called The Cost of Giving Up. This is definitely a single. She did release it before the whole album, so this was one of the 4 that she released before that, and I was playing it on repeat, of course, as one does. I kind of took it to be a little bit of a breakup song, but like most songs and most of Poppy's work, there's at least a couple meanings that you can derive from the song. It was more of a breakup song for me because, well, we won't talk about that, but I thought it was a breakup song, guys, and I kind of rethought my opinion on the song later because it gave me a new perspective the more I listened to it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like several of the tracks on this album, it's hard for me to get through this song because it hits me right in my feelings, and I love it, and it's so good. Lyrically, I would say it's challenging for me to get through because of that, because everything Poppy writes just hits me in the heart. For me, this song encompasses a lot of how I've been feeling lately, and just with the state of the world and in some of my relationships, or lack thereof. So it does resonate with me, and it hurts my feelings, and I love it. This song is also an anthem. I think a lot of people are going to see themselves in this song. We're only on track 2, people, and Poppy has blessed us with screaming. So if you are not a rock fan, please do not click off yet, because there's something for you here, I promise you. But if you are a rock fan, saddle up for the next song. The next song on the album is called They're All Around Us, which is the same name as her tour, and I will be going to it. She's headlining her own tour again, and I have seen her on tour 3 times now, different tours, and I've met her twice, and I love Poppy. She is wonderful, a delight, and never disappoints. But I will be in Nashville, Tennessee, so if you're there, say hi. This song goes hard, people, and I know there was rock on the album before this, but this song goes really hard, people. She starts off the song by going, "Coward," and then like there's so much like metal going, and it just makes you want to go and wiggle, okay? But like wiggle in a mosh pit, you know what I'm trying to say here, people? People are going to be angry at me on their phones. This song really resonated with me lyrically. My spirit has felt very black and blue lately. So to listen to this song, and not just this song, but so many songs on the album, and feel like a resignation in my heart for someone else's words and their artistry, is a really cool feeling. And I hope that other people get that when they listen to this album. But I think you kind of have to know some of the context of Poppy's life to really get that experience. That's why I'm being so in depth here. The verses to this song are just as powerful as the chorus. And to that, I would say that this song is going to be another timeless piece because it's a little bit political. You can kind of apply it to the social landscape of our society today, as well as the other tracks on this album. And because of that, I think it will have longevity. I think that Poppy writes all of her music with the sense of longevity in mind. Maybe not purposefully. I think she's just pushing the boundaries of music, if I'm being honest. And I think that's part of the reason they'll be timeless. But because of that, I've noticed, at least in my time, my short few years on this earth, I'm only 19. I've noticed that a lot of people have an album, and then whenever it performs well quickly, it's not always something that will hold up for a long time. And I think not that Poppy's music doesn't perform well. And I don't think this is every situation, but there are albums that I can think of, like Art Pop, for instance, by Lady Gaga, that did not perform as well because it was originally leaked before its launch date. And then also, people thought it was too ahead of its time, you know, and now people kind of see that more. But if you look at the original reviews for Art Pop and other albums, like not necessarily similar in sound, but that have had a similar journey as Art Pop, you will see that as a trend. So I think that the reviews that are kind of pooping on Poppy right now and in the past aren't getting it, but it'll be too late for them when they start to get it because Poppy is a superstar and I've believed in her since the beginning. So I don't care what you metal haters have to say about that, all you women haters have to say about that. Poppy is my mommy, okay? Yesterday is the next track on this album, and it is a 47-second track. This song completely switches up the flow of the album. Poppy uses more of her ASMR, softer baby voice, and I could argue that this song is more pop-esque. There's too many genres. We don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but there are too many genres, and I'm tired of everybody saying something's a genre, and I don't even know what it is because there's just too many words for things. However, this falls into a pop-ish category, okay, people? And to the OG fans, here's where things are getting interesting for you. Like the pop fans of Poppy, not so much the rock fans, stay tuned because this is like an interlude that goes into Crystallized and it's like a seamless flow. This is like the pivotal moment of the album where you're like, oh, this is one big song. Like it's one big album, but it's not like that right there is where it's like really noteworthy, at least to me. I was like, wow, like it hit me. And then whenever it goes into Crystallized, guys, Crystallized, you should be twerking on TikTok and on Instagram to this. In fact, I did. I posted a thirst trap. I wasn't twerking, but that's not what God would want. My favorite lyric on Yesterday is "My only loyalty is what I owe to me." And I thought that was very powerful. And every time I am singing it alone in my house, I want to cry. Crystallized, however, really boosts my mood because that underlick is so good. The hooks in that song are so good. They are amazing. And if you don't like any other song on this album, you will like Crystallized because it is written in such a way that you have to like it. It's the law. I don't make the rules. I also think this is a good spot in the video to point out that this album, I think, was designed to be listened to with headphones. I definitely got more out of it with headphones. Hearing the mixing and like the production value through a headphone really does change an album experience for me. If you don't listen to music that way, that's totally fine because I also don't always listen to music that way. But whenever I'm doing an album review, I definitely do because I like to hear it both like through my speakers and in my car and then also through the headphones. But I got more out of this album through the headphones, and specifically this song, Crystallized. Oh, my Lord Jeffree Star, give me strength, because it is so, like, the production is so good, people. Jordan Fish helped Poppy to produce this album, and Stephen Ray Harrison was a former guitarist of Fever 333, and he's also working on this album with Poppy, and they're both extremely talented because I'll let you be the judge, but I think that they did a really good job on this album, and we're not even halfway through it. I will say, if this is your first Poppy album and you're a new Poppy fan, if you have listened through to the album at this far at Crystallized, you're probably going to be really confused at the direction of the album and kind of think it's like all over the place. But if you're a long-time listener, I feel like it makes perfect sense because by now you're probably grasping the song, or not the song, but the album is going to come full circle, right? She started something and you're like, how is she going to finish it? At least I was so excited by this point of the song because a couple of these songs I had already heard as well because she released them early. So by the time I got to Crystallize, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is next? And let me tell you something, because it's just us, I was not emotionally prepared for the next song, and I am deeply hurt by it, and I love it so much. It's so good. It's the only thing getting me through my life right now. I just got lipstick on my microphone. Because this song is so good, not just lyrically, but also sonically. This song, I need you to listen to this song, and if you don't like it, don't ever talk to me again. The headphone production of this song is amazing. I have been sleeping to it, I have been dancing to it, I have been crying to it, I have been emotionless. I cannot talk. I've been emotional. I have been sleeping to it. I've been eating to it. I've been dancing to it. I've been crying to it. I've been driving to it. I've been showering to this song. It is literally, quite literally, the only song giving me the strength these days, if you know what I mean. This album, of course, is giving me strength as well, and I've been listening to it as well. But this song, if I was going to be stuck on one thing for all of eternity, for the rest of time, it would be this song. And Halo is a close second. That's the ending track, but we haven't gotten there yet. If you want to know what I've been going through, read the lyrics of this song, and let me tell you, you'll be right there with me, because it still feels vital some days. All days. I feel like Poppy could have ended the album on Vital, but she did not. She did not just leave me in shambles. She wrote a song called Push Go, and Push Go is another, dare I say, anthem. It reminds me of Immature Couture in the sense that it's like empowering and uplifting like that, which is much needed at this point of the album, because after Vital, I'm ready to end it all, because that song, whew, this is an uplifting song, so imagine like highs and lows, people. We're doing highs and lows, but this song is an emotional roller coaster for me. I'm interested to see if it is for anyone else, but I'm loving it. I'm with you. I'm here. I'm feeling the feels. The next track is called Nothing, and this is where we go back into depression screaming with Poppy, because I'm always down. Like, I'm down. We can scream right now. I just don't want to wake up my neighbors because they don't mind waking me up, but This is another song where we get a wide range of like Poppy's singing voice, I feel. We get a lot of screaming, we get a lot of vocal melody, and we get a lot of lyrical content in this song. The lyrical content is pretty dark. She says, "'Cause I'm pleading my own defense. I made the same mistakes again. You hang it over my head. Can you tell me, what do you want from me when nothing's enough for you?" And this song is heavy, guys. It's like not just heavy lyrically, but heavy like it's, ew, what was that? But but it's heavy, okay? Like, y'all need to listen to it. It's also written in such a way that it could be about oneself or it could be about a lover. And I think that she has a very interesting writing style like that, because a lot of these songs could be self-love songs or self-loathing songs, or they could be about relationships. And I think that adds so much diversity to the album. Or you can even see it as like, the public versus the private life of a celebrity. So I think it's cool that she has all these like double and triple entendres in her music, and it provides so much more meaning to us, the listener, or the viewer on music videos. I just think that's a really cool layer of perspective you can add there. The next track is called The Center is Falling Out, and I have a note here that says, and I quote, "Guess what? We get more headbanging, moshing Poppy on this one." I wrote, "The drums are screaming and the guitar progression make me want to curb stomp a pumpkin. These lyrics are also very dark. What more could you want? This might be the hardest song on the record, and I hope she tours it." And I honestly can't spice that up for you guys. That is exactly how I feel about this song. I've seen some people on, okay, when I write my reviews, I try to be unbiased, but just like tell my truth, my experience listening to the album. I'm not really appealing for public appeal here, but I did see accidentally a clip of someone dogging on this song specifically, and To that, I would say, listen again, you freak. What the heck? Like, also, stop being mean on the internet. That's my thing. I believe the review I'm referencing right now is from The Guardian, but I did see that this next track called Hey There, people have been referring to it as loungecore, which I had not heard of that term before, so I need to do more research. You guys are making me do research on the genres because I'm getting old. So reference some genres that I need to check out down below. But I was fascinated by this song specifically because I believe she had announced the album and then she put out Hey There and she released it on YouTube. Okay. So she doesn't have the song up on streaming. So when I heard that song, I was like, what is she doing? Like, what is this? And I think that was before like the four singles were out, right? Because she put those out in October and November before the album. And I was just like really confused by the sound, but Poppy was clowning us. She's laughing at all of us. She's so smart because this like releasing that song, Hey There, it's so interesting because it kind of throws you off the scent of the whole album. Like if you had heard that like this track, like it's a shorter track as well, but if you had heard this track, you would not expect the rest of the album to be what it's been thus far. I also think it's really interesting that it falls in the middle because you technically could start the album at any of these songs, but on my re-listens through, sometimes I'll start it on Hey There because it's interesting to start it there and then listen to the whole cycle through. So that's just food for thought. I'm sure she did it purposefully because she's such a talented, meticulous person, but I thought that was really interesting, and also the timing of like her throwing that up on YouTube and everything. She's so much smarter than people give her credit for, and I just love her. Oh my god, nobody's watching this review anymore. It's just me talking about how much I love Poppy. I think that this track is very interesting, not just the lyrical content of the track, but she uses like a voice distorter, a similar one to the one she uses on her track Motorbike, but it discusses negative spaces and name drops negative spaces in the lyrics. And it's kind of like an interlude to the next song, which is the title track, Negative Spaces. It's very ethereal and the build up to it is pretty slick. It's pretty good. It's pretty seamless and you guys should go listen to it. There, I said it. I can see why this is the first thing she released upon announcing the album. I think it's interesting in the scope of her career, in what she's trying to say, not just like politically but publicly, like what she's trying to say as the artist. Like she always keeps me guessing with that, and I hope people are on board with me here because I just think she's so interesting. I think like people are always like, Poppy's weird. I mean, yes, but like she's interesting. She's so interesting. Stop being such a freak. After Hey There, we jump straight into Negative Spaces, the song. I would like to remind everybody that this is the title track of the album, and the lyrics that I found to be the most provocative and the most interesting are, and I quote, "Every moment's vital, and I'm feeling suicidal, but I smile." Now, that is the first time that Poppy has ever shared something quite so negative and quite so deep with us as the public. She has shown different sides of herself through her lyrics, and there are many, many vulnerable lyrics to her work, and I don't want to like hyper analyze here, but I think it's interesting that on this album called Negative Spaces that she shares us with that on the track Negative Spaces, and also with the political theming of some of the tracks and some of the mental health stigmas that could be broken down in some of the tracks are very interesting. She's sharing sides of herself through this music that she's never shared with us before. And she's gone through a lot of things publicly the past few years that I'm sure were very traumatic. And she's a very strong individual, I think, to be able to go through those things and come out on top. And she's a very hard worker, and I think that speaks volumes to her character. But I'm a little bit rambling here, but I think it's really iconic and very brave of her to share that on the album. And I love her. I just love her so much. And I hope that she is in a good place to be sharing that. And I feel like she is because she's working so hard, but to be able to share that and feel powerful and not restrained from sharing those things with the public is quite brave. Surviving on Defiance, holy reverb Batman, this song is good. This song taught me a new word, people. That new word is unfettered, which means uninhibited or unrestrained. That's what it means. And I learned that. Good for me. In this song, she calls herself a tampered object, which I found to be intriguing because Poppy has a song where she says Poppy is an object. So I hope she doesn't think of herself as an object still, because I'm sure like the other one's more parody, I think, but it's interesting that that has like been something that correlates throughout her work, people. Like, hello, what are we doing here? Like, am I the only person noticing this? This was one of the first singles on the album that she released, and on it she goes Poppy, which is so iconic because when she released it, like we weren't in track progression of the album, and just hearing her like reference her old YouTube videos and her old like little saying in her videos. Oh my God, girl, it had me floored. I literally, I was at work and I had to go to break to listen to it, and I heard it and I was like, I'm like, am I the only one that's freaking out about this right now? And I was, but at least in that location. But I knew you guys were freaking out with me. So I was freaking out, people. I was freaking out. I'm still freaking out about it, just thinking about it. This song could be introspective, or it could be about a lover, or it could be about the public. It is about catching yourself before you hit the bottom and getting back up, and basically fighting to claw your way out of the grunge, out of the darkness, And I feel that way a lot in my life because life gets you down sometimes, y'all. And if you're still here, I'm sure this video is getting you down because it's so freaking long. But it does. And I've resonated with this song as well because of that. It is so good. And it's a nice balance between pop and rock. So like if you're like wanting to put it in a playlist and just dance around and be silly or clean or cook or whatever, this album's like nice to have on as well. It's not like one of those albums that you have to be like in your feels the whole time. You can also turn it on and just jam, which is great. And I have been doing, but I've also been in my feels. So it's great. It's multi-purposed, multifaceted. And I love that in an album. I really do. I can cry while I make dinner. The next song is called Tomorrow, and it's kind of a short song, almost an interlude for Halo, which is the last track of the album. But the buildup in this song is truly beautiful. It is truly amazing, and the lyricism on this song also makes you think. It is very old poppy-esque in the sense that it's more ASMR-y, it's more pop. The arrangement of this song and the vocalization, I don't have the words to describe. I really do need you people to go listen to it and then come back and tell me what you think, because if you do not, I will have to keep talking to myself alone, and that won't be good for anyone. But it is so good, and the way it sets up Halo, it will really get you in your feelies if you want to be there. So do it at your own risk, but it's really good. I think the song Tomorrow is kind of a parable on change and how change really waits for no one, and there's no time like today. And it's really beautiful how that sets up into Halo, which could be argued is, again, a love song or a self-love song, or a song from the private to the public. The setup of Tomorrow is so beautifully done lyrically because it sets up to Halo perfectly, because it's kind of a song about change and how change really waits for no person. Tomorrow doesn't wait for anyone, and you have now to change. We're not promised tomorrow. And that song, it's short, but it's kind of about that. I don't want to like put words into Poppy's mouth, if you will, but that to me, that's what I gathered from the song. And it sets up the love song or the self-love song of Halo so beautifully. I think this song is a direct message to the fans because she talks about how she loves entertaining, and entertaining isn't just for her anymore. And I think that's her acknowledging that she has an obligation as a public figure to stimulate the viewer and the listener with things that stimulate your brain and make you think of questions. Like, as the artist, like, Poppy is the moment. Poppy is the statement. She's always been the statement in the moment. And I think people forget that. Like, from her early videos before the music career, like, she was the statement. And I'm interested to see her movie after this album because she is the statement. Like, there was a weird performance with her getting pulled off stage and she was like android-esque. Like, her persona is so good. And what Mariah, the person, writes for us as Poppy, the character that she gets to perform, it's just mind-boggling to me, and it's so cool, and I could nerd out about it all day. And if Poppy sees this, she probably thinks I'm a weirdo, but I need you people to know that Poppy is putting this out so you will think. So start thinking, people. Use your brains. That's why we got them, right? If you don't believe me, I could also argue that this has been a theme in Poppy's work since Time Is Up, and honestly before that, and everything on I Disagree. Like, Poppy is all about burning things down. So think about the lyrics. I encourage everyone to read these lyrics and just think about what Poppy is saying, and think about what you think, and think about what you believe, because that might be interesting as well. As Tomorrow transitions to Halo, the last track of this album, I just need you people to know that I think this album deserves the Grammy for Album of the Year, because it is so seamless and so beautiful. Halo is a show-stopping song. I hope that she plays it for the encore. I hope that she plays it live, and I will be graced to hear it live, because I will probably cry and scream and die inside, because it is so beautiful. It's a sister, maybe not a sister track to Vital, but the lyricism, the power of the lyricism really hits me the same way. It's a little bit more empowering, I would say, this one. It's a little bit more of a love song, more of I feel like the public could hear it and be like, oh, that's a love song. That would be like the most biased answer. But it could be a self-love song too, I think. I think a lot of these tracks on here could be self-loathing and self-love songs, which I think is so interesting how she writes songs like that they can have different meaning. I know a lot of people do that, but it's just really cool how she does it, because she's doing it in a different way than other people, and I think that's pretty great. This is kind of a soft rock song, but the element of electronic music and like the production, again I say the production on this song with the headphones, people, it is life-changing, it is ethereal, and it has truly changed my life because it is so beautiful. Like, this is a piece of art. This album is a piece of art that needs to be studied by scientists, okay? And I don't think it will ever be replicated to this degree, because it is so good. And I'm not just saying that. I need you to listen to it. Lyrically, this song may hurt you in a way that you will never recover from, but if you are strong enough to go on that journey, I highly recommend it, because Poppy's lullaby voice and her rock voice in this, like, there's no screaming in this song, but the harmonies and like the deep like grit in Poppy's voice, it is so good. I cannot tell you how good it is, because I just can't. Just go listen to it. Like, stop and go listen to it. It is so good. This is the kind of album that gets you through the next 5 years of your life. It is so freaking good. I would not rate many albums 10 stars. This album to me is a perfect 10. Poppy designed this album so flawlessly. You can listen at any track and it flows seamlessly to repeat. And at the end of Halo, the outro goes into the intro of the first song of the album. So I just need you guys to give this a fair shot. Like, I feel like Poppy as a woman doesn't get a fair shot, and in the rock world she also didn't get a fair shot. Like, honestly, in the pop world she didn't get a fair shot either. People, listen to Poppy, stream her music. You guys are missing out on a extremely talented person. She can act, she can dance, she can sing, and she's funny. Go watch her show. You go watch it right now. Go listen to her album, because do that first, then go watch her show, and then get back to me, because I need to know what you think, girl. Call me. Hello, I'm on the gram. A live and learn lesson, a lover's edition. I'm hanging on because I trust. It's easier than giving up. This song, guys, it hurts my poor little soul, my tattered little withered heart. However, I am strong enough to listen to it, and it is so good. This song has changed my life. This album is changing my life. It's making me think, and I don't know if you guys feel this way. Maybe it's because I'm part of the Lonely Hearts Club, but sometimes albums are there for me in ways that people have never been there for me, and they're kind of my comfort. And this album is definitely going to become a comfort album for me. Poppy is one of my comfort artists, I will say, and that's one of the reasons I love her so much. But this album, I feel it happening, and there's not a lot of albums that I can say have done that to me recently in my life. Earlier on in my life, I would say yes, there's albums that have been super impactful, but this album, I can tell is impactful, and I can tell that it's impactful for a generation. So I hope you guys get the opportunity to see Poppy live, because she has had so many amazing shows, but the ones I've been to have been some of the best shows I've ever gone to, and I've gone to quite a few shows in my day. So I love Poppy. Give this album a listen to. Watch her show. Subscribe or follow me so we can talk about it because I need to know what you guys think. DM me on the Instagram. Hit my line. Hit my mic. No one is doing it like Poppy. No one ever will do it like Poppy. She is the underdog of the Hollywood dream. Poppy is the statement. She is the moment, and she is the experiment. So all of you people who think that Poppy isn't a rock star or isn't a good singer or isn't funny or isn't talented or isn't a good actress can really go hit rocks. Kick them. Not hit them. You know what? Hit them too. Don't throw rocks at me, though. That would be really mean.